Hi, today we're going to take a look at coordinate geometry, graphing a quadrilateral, seeing if it is a rhombus, rectangle, or square. Now, we need to understand what the difference is between those three. So, a parallelogram is any four-sided figure that has opposite sides that are parallel. So, opposite sides parallel. Now, a rectangle is a four-sided figure. So what's special about a rectangle? This has four right angles in it. So we know we got that going on. Um, what makes a rhombus a rhombus? A rhombus, instead of saying four right angles, here we have four congruent sides. Okay. If we were to take both of those and smash them together, we create a square. A square has four congruent sides, just like a rhombus. It also has four right angles, like the rectangle. So this right here is a special kind of rectangle. This right here is a special kind of rhombus. Together, all of these are parallelograms, but they have another name to further describe what's going on with them. Now, what about the diagonals in all of these? Well, in a rectangle, our diagonals, they're going to be the same length. They're going to be congruent to each other. With a rhombus, that's not always the case because I can squish this thing in. I'm going to have a small diagonal going side to side and a real long one going top down. When it comes to a square, and I'm sorry, we also have right angles here. When it comes to a square, our diagonals are going to be both congruent, like the rectangle, and it's going to form a right angle in the middle. So a little bit of both. So what does that have to do with anything? Over here, we're given four coordinates. We're going to take those four coordinates, we're going to graph them, and then we're going to see. And we're going to use distance formula. We're going to use slope to help trying to figure out what we got going on here. So let's plot these. Now, these pictures don't have to be perfect. So let's just roundabout graph them. I know 5, 0. I'm going over. I'm somewhere on this line. 5, 0. A. B is I'm going over, I'm going down. I get a negative 11. C, I'm going backwards, I'm going down even further. Negative 3, negative 14, and that's C. And D, I go back a little and then down. D, and that is negative 6, negative 3. And if we were to connect them, who knows? That could be a rectangle. That could be a square. That could just be a regular four-sided figure. Who knows? Let's try and figure it out. So we need to use a distance formula. What do we need to use a distance formula? We're going to focus on the diagonals. Now, let's find the diagonal of AC. Okay? So we're going to do square root. We're going to take our x's, add them to our y's, and then simplify. So let's take our x's. We're going to say 5 minus negative 3. 5 minus negative 3. And then our y's, 0 minus minus 14. Giving us a plus, simplify. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 squared is 64. And 0 and 14 is 14. 14 squared is 196. Together they give us 260. Okay, let's do this for our other diagonal. This time we're talking about BD. Okay, take our x's, square them, add them to our y's, and square them our x's. Negative 6 and 8. Negative 6 and 8. Nope, minus in there, sorry. Negative 6 minus 8. Our y's, negative 3 minus negative 11. When we simplify, we get negative 6, negative 8, which is negative 14. Negative 14 times negative 14 is 196. Plus, we have a plus sign there. 11 minus 3 is going to give us 8. 8 squared, 64. and we're left with the same thing, square root of 260. So we know that both diagonals are exactly the same. Our rhombus, our diagonals are not the same. So that is not the case. So we've got one of these options now. So now we're going to take it a little further. We're going to still look at our diagonals, but this time, let's focus on the slope of the diagonals. Why? Because if we have a right angle in the middle, that means our two lines are perpendicular to each other. And for perpendicular slopes, we need two changes. The slope needs to be opposite and it needs to be reciprocal of each other. So we're going to find the slope of AC and BD. So we're going to say M, our slope of, we'll say AC, equals AC. So change in Y over change in X. We're saying 0 minus negative 14 over 5 minus negative 3 plus plus, giving us 14 over 8. Okay, let's do the slope of BD. So next we're going to say the change in the y's, negative 11 minus negative 3. Change in x, 8 minus negative 6. We get a plus, we get a plus. Up top, we get negative 8. On the bottom, we get 14. Now, do we have two changes? Are they opposite? Positive, negative? Yes. Are they reciprocals? 14 over 8, 8 over 14? Yes. These two things are opposite reciprocal. That means we have perpendicular lines, which has to be, we have a square. So what do we got here? A square. And that's classifying quadrilateral as a rhombus rectangular square using distance formula and slope to our diagonals.